everyone. It's the Prestige Junkie Podcast. I am Katie Rich, and today it is time to predict the 2027 Oscars with complete accuracy. As always, we did this last year, and bringing back to do it again, we have Chris Feil and Joe Reid of This Had Oscar Buzz. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Thunderdome.
Thank you for having us.
I see a thumbs up from Chris. But
always a thrill.
Not with us last year, though. Now part of the crew, Chris Rosen, you're getting thrown into the mix, but also being told to predict the Oscars a year in advance. Like, you live for this stuff, so you're not scared.
Truly been thinking about this since January, so I'm so excited to be here.
We are ready to go. It's going to be a long one, a good one. We're going to look back at last year's picks, see how we did, make some bold picks for the future. It's going to be really fun. Welcome to the show. So Joe Reid and Chris Feil, I'm going to be confused with the two Chris's. There's only one Joe, but I might just call Joe by his last name anyway. You guys came and did this with me last year before Chris had joined the Ankler. And it was carrying on a tradition that had happened at Little Gold Men way back before. Joe, I feel like we've been doing this for like a decade maybe now.
Probably, yes. That's probably true.
But because last year was the first time we had done it for Prestige Junkie, we didn't get to go back and listen to our previous year's picks and laugh about how wrong we were.
That's true. Now we can.
This year we have the data. So we're going to go back and listen to some clips from what we did this time last year. Chris Rosen, you were not here then. How do you feel like you did? Just broadly, you put some picks on the record over at Gold Derby.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I did. I'll tell you what. Best Picture, I had 5 out of 10. So I was very happy with that.
Did you predict them or just discuss them?
No, just predicted them. My early picks last year, among them were Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle, and Sentimental Value. So I had 5. We'll not talk about After the Hunt and Jay Kelly and The History of Sound.
Don't worry.
All
They're
of
coming.
which I had.
They're coming.
Joe Reid and I will talk about The History of Sound.
I had that a lot of places.
Eventually on our show.
Can I know we have actual evidence from last year's, but I have a note on my notes app.
Oh, right.
From literally dated April 5th.
So pre-Cannes announcement last year.
Pre-Cannes announcement. My best picture predictions were After the Hunt, Avatar, Fire and Ash, Begonia, Hamnet, highest to lowest, History of Sound, Jay Kelly, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams.
Hey.
So I too
Wow, Train Dreams. Joe, way to go.
5 of 10.
Good. Yeah.
That's great.
Well,
5 of 10 is a great stat.
I
From
think
April,
that's a good stat.
I would say, yeah. I'll give myself some credit.
In our podcast versions, we have not made ourselves stick to a predicted 10. You're welcome to do so, Chris Rosen, if you want to, but we broadly discussed them. And before we get into the clips, I was going to say, we did discuss 8 of the 10 Best Picture nominees. Would you guys like to guess which ones we did not mention at all?
Secret Agent.
Secret Agent. I mean,
The Secret Agent.
there was no way. There was just no way to predict The Secret Agent in there. Any guesses on what the other one was?
F1?
F1.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had no idea.
It did not seem like an Oscar movie.
It just absolutely didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll keep that in mind for the discussion we're about to have or not with, July release, whenever it was that F1 came out.
Yeah.
So anyway, last year is a real grab bag of things that seemed like sure things and weren't, and things we didn't even think about that were. And we're going to start with the first clip, and you guys can pretty immediately tell which category that falls into. Let's hear the clip. Maybe let's start with Wicked for Good, because I was looking at this list trying to say, all right, who was around this season who's going to be right back at it? And that really is top of the list. I don't know how Cynthia and Ariana outdo themselves. I have no idea how you do that again, but they're going to try. Because we all learned our lesson on the original Wicked, should we go high on Wicked for Good, or should the part 2 part of it make us feel skeptical?
Post Dune Part 2, I don't know. Will those Oscars that Wicked Part 1 was successful in winning, will they even be nominated in that category?
Chris Feil, congrats. You saw it coming.
Congratulations.
This is the one time being so deeply cynical has paid off in my life. I wouldn't give myself too much credit there, because I guess I'm kind of, what I'm saying is hedging my bets rather than saying there would be a complete shutout of Wicked for Good, which I don't think anybody was really predicting at any point.
No, up until the moment it happened. Yeah.
Although I think neither of you guys in your predicted 10 from last year, Joe and Chris Rosen, either of you put Wicked for Good on your Best Picture list. So
I had.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Did you? I did.
Okay.
I had Avatar and Wicked last year.
Yeah.
Because I was why not? But yeah, not great.
It was an interesting thing to learn. I mean, we'll talk about Dune 3 in a moment, but I wonder what lessons we take with us about short turnaround sequels in the Best Picture race.
Yeah, I think we'll talk more about Dune 3, but like Avatar is also instructive in that way, where it's just like this just diminishing returns of these kinds of movies. They're not all going to be Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. In fact, very, very, very few of them.
I think only Lord of the Rings, Return of the King is Return of the King at this point. So early in our conversation, we pivoted pretty wildly in terms of size of movies. So let's hear the next movie we tackled. I put at the top of the list Train Dreams. I think that's an obvious place to start. Also, it was really the breakout hit at Sundance, at a pretty paltry Sundance. So it's a movie that I've seen. Have you guys seen it?
Yes.
I can't remember. Okay.
Yes.
I did not see it.
It is a lovely movie. It is a strange fit for Netflix, I think we've said. I clipped that mostly for the Netflix part of it. We were so stressed about Netflix having Train Dreams when we did this last year. And I think we were wrong. Like, you guys tell me what you think. I think Netflix wound up doing extremely well by Train Dreams, and that's another, prior I'm trying to adjust going into this year.
I think we were all very stung by what happened of his 3 daughters, and that what might have shaded our judgment.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes. And other movies as well, Netflix does not have the capacity to serve all of these movies that it has well, and I think we can talk about that when we look at the year ahead.
Yeah.
But they really did try to juggle all of those big fall movies that they had this year. And they didn't all do well. But the fact that they got back onto their 2 Best Picture nomination, jam that they had been, that was a streak they had been going for a while. And then it got broken in 2024, 2023, one of those years. Yes,
they won 6 Oscars, I think, with the short and K-pop and Frankenstein. I mean, not the Oscars they were spending a bunch of money for, but credit where it's due.
Yes, no, it's true. It's true.
Chris Rosen, where were you on Train Dreams this time last year?
I was out. I was not in on Train Dreams at all. And I would say I just thought it was going to be too small. And I was worried about it being Sing Singed as well, even though it's a different studio because of how it just was completely erased, basically. But I would say this, in terms of Netflix, one of the things I think I would have, even though I wasn't here, I would have agreed with you that, is it the right place for that movie? The one thing I would give them a lot of credit for is when the other movies like J. Kelly and House of Dynamite kind of died, they really did pivot hard to Train Dreams and were able to bring that forward for 4 nominations, which I was like, oh, that's really, they're good at that. Netflix is really good at pivoting on the fly.
Cutting bait and
going harder on something else. They'll put all their efforts into they are always going to put their efforts into these movies. The amount of emails I'm sure we all got about J. Kelly is staggering. Mm-hmm. But when they saw that Train Dreams had a legitimate shot and the field had really opened up, they pushed it really hard. So I think that in the end, it was maybe the best place for Train Dreams in hindsight, which maybe at this point last year I would have never imagined.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. We'll have to rethink some stuff there.
The one other thing I wanted to note from that clip of you, Katey, is mentioning that Sundance was a pretty paltry Sundance, and yet If I Had Legs, I Could Kick You was at that Sundance. And Rose Byrne was able to emerge from that in a way that I don't think any of us really thought that movie had the juice or was going to be. Well, yeah, not to put too fun a point on it. Yeah.
And it ended up kicking us.
And yes.
In the heart.
And that's another thing that's maybe to be instructive this year as we look at another Sundance that from this vantage point seems to be an at most one movie kind of, Sundance. But now I'm wondering if maybe there's, if there's an actor in one of those other movies.
Yeah.
Interesting, Joe. Interesting thing to throw out there because I have an actor I think we could talk about
later. We'll talk about it.
Maybe we're talking about the same one.
There is. Yeah.
Stay tuned for the 2027 portion of this predictions episode. But first, we got a long clip for this one, but fascinating in a lot of ways, I think. So let's hear the next clip.
We're on a 2-year streak of Timothée Chalamet exceeding expectations in December. Mm-hmm. So now we are going for December number 3 with Marty Supreme, which is the Josh Safdie movie about ping pong, starring
about a real ping pong player,
about
a
ping pong
kind of
champion, and Chalamet is the lead. Gwyneth Paltrow is also in this movie. It is coming out in December, and I, who have historically never clicked with either of the Safdies, find myself strangely excited for this movie because it's Timothée Chalamet and Gwyneth Paltrow in a ping pong movie. Like, sold.
At Christmas.
At Christmas, exactly. Merry Christmas to me specifically. So,
do you want to, we should note that Josh Safdie also has his own movie coming out. So this year's breakup of the Safdie brothers is probably one of the stories we'll be following.
This is Marty Supreme is the Josh one, and Benny also has the one with The Rock.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Benny. Yeah. Benny has The Smashing Machine with The Rock and Emily Blunt, the Jungle Cruise A24 reunion you all wanted. It's just so funny how little we know. Like, all the things that we don't know shit about a year in advance.
That was really good, though. I'm loving this. As like, I'm just sitting here like a listener. This is awesome. I'm like absolutely loving these.
You're not like, these ding-dongs thought he was a real ping pong player.
This is so good.
I mean, Joe, I want to check in with you. Now that the Timmy Wars have subsided, we can go back to our battle stations. We are heading in for Christmas number 4. How did you, I mean, you called your shot on Marty Supreme, and I think you were right in the end.
I'm wrong about a lot of things, but like that one kind of played out up to the point that he became, public enemy number 1.
The opera in ballet you did not see coming.
Right. Like it opened in December. It was a hit. It was another like Timothée Chalamet December hit. He, his star power was able to, carry it through. I ended up liking it way more than any other Softies movies I had, ever seen before. So I think the only thing I was maybe a little bit more bullish on was the Gwyneth Paltrow angle of it all.
Yeah.
But, ultimately,
I mean, of course we were going to be high on Gwyneth, like whether or not that was the thing.
Sure.
And she did really get out there.
Did.
It's not like they didn't
absolutely
try.
did. It's the voters who were wrong. So we'll say that.
I think the Timmy December streak really needs to be acknowledged. And again, we're going to have time to talk about Dune 3 in a moment. But
the fact that
did
Dune
the job.
3 got the IMAX theaters, like Dune 3 is going to win that release date face off. And so
the return of Santa's favorite elf.
Yes.
It really was Merry Christmas to Joe Reid specifically.
He is going to have to end up making a Nutcracker movie to like finally
find that fifth realm.
Make peace with all. Yes, exactly.
I'm so glad our heads went to the exact same place. Okay, we can move on from Marty Supreme. Sometimes our faves give us exactly what we want, and sometimes they don't. And that's what's happening with this next clip.
We have yet another Luca Guadagnino movie coming this year in After the Hunt. I think one of the most exciting elements here is that it is Luca with Julia Roberts. We are always ready to see Julia Roberts back in a movie.
I will add to this that we go on to talk about how the logline seems not promising. I mean, Chris Feil, you made the point that sometimes Luca's movies are not quite what we think they're going to be from the plot description. Seems like maybe in this case it was.
It was.
I was not here, but I was incredibly bullish on this movie.
I was too.
Like, so
I had heard
Julia,
somebody, I can't remember, it was like an unattributed quote, but somebody literally was like, I hear that it's Julia Roberts' Tar. And I was like, that's intriguing.
It was the Temu version of Tar. That's what shit was for her. It was.
Stings as a person who liked that movie.
For this one, I was weighing on Io Debris winning because I was like, Kieran just won for Succession, basically. And I'm like, everybody loves Io and the Bear, and this will be her Best Supporting Actress win. And no, nothing.
It was a rough year for Io.
It was a really rough. So
Io had a really bad run. All of her movies last year. Like the Opus
it was
and
a rough
this,
year.
And there was a third
Ella
one.
McKay, Katie.
Ella McKay.
Ella McKay's going to come on.
And I would not
worry.
say one of the most well-received elements, if there were those, of Ella McKay. That scene is pretty rough.
I thought she was like fighting for her life with a crazy person. I never saw Ella McKay.
Well, the scene that she's in with is one of the most crazy I've ever seen.
It's the nadir of that film and also maybe filmmaking. It's really, it's rough. And
it's a scene you could also fully lift out of the movie.
It's
very much like, why are we here?
Yeah.
It was. Have
All
you guys
respect
decided?
To everyone involved with Ella
have you
McKay.
announced your This Hot Oscar Buzz breaking the seal for 2025 yet?
Oh,
for me, I mean, for a lot of our listeners, that movie is
Ella McKay.
Wicked for Good.
Oh, I
for
see.
me, it's Ella McKay.
I see.
We discussed this on our class of it was the class of episode, right? Class of 2025
Yes.
episode. Yes. So We threw everybody a curveball this year. Everybody was expecting challengers, and we gave them Joker Folie à Deux. So we are not above.
That's mean.
We are not above giving a swerve.
It seems very appropriate to the Joker, though. So good job.
Yeah. Exactly.
The clown prince of crime would do something like that. Okay.
Back to Luca, though. I mean, like, half of the joy of doing these episodes so early in the year is having egg on our face later in the year. So I'll just jump out and say, maybe we are done with predicting Luca Guadagnino movies. Maybe we've learned our lesson enough. But this is also me backdoor being like, maybe Luca will be back with this one, and I can have egg on my face for saying that.
We'll have, I believe he has a movie that could be out this year.
Sure
so
does.
He ever? Yeah.
Luca does not rest, apparently. So we'll be back to him in a minute.
Yeah.
But first, we have, we can just listen to this clip and decide if this is a fave disappointing us this year. But I do feel like we have to talk about Brady Corbet and Mona Fastfold, because to be a filmmaker coming back already is pretty remarkable. And especially if you've made The Brutalist, which famously took 7 years to make. But Mona Fastfold, she was the co-writer on The Brutalist. She's the director of Ann Lee, which is a musical biopic of a real founder of a Shaker community.
The Shakers
played
founder,
by Amanda Seyfried. Dulcimer playing Amanda Seyfried. I'm getting my hopes up too high for this. Maybe I think it's going to be challenging. My hopes were appropriately high for The Testament of Ann Lee. And
it was challenging.
And the Academy voters did not do the right thing.
This one stings,
that
man.
would be my breaking the seal 2025 for this had Oscar buzz, I think. Is just a personal fave that, I don't know. Maybe it landed where it was inevitably going to as a tough movie, but justice for Ann Lee.
I think the fact that Amanda Seyfried was in the mix to the degree that she was in Best Actress, that was always going to be, to me at least, the ceiling for that movie was getting Seyfried a nomination. Yeah. And ultimately didn't happen. But
also just one of the great performances that just didn't get a nomination.
We'll always have the spinning. The spinning. We'll
always have that TIFF screening where everyone walked out excited. Joe was like, what the fuck is wrong with you people?
Joe is on the right side of history, in my opinion, on that movie. I found it really a tough sit. But I love Amanda Seyfried, so good work.
I was watching that in Toronto while Chris Rosen was talking to Oliver Lachey about Seurat in the TIFF studio. So I remember where we all were that beautiful morning in Toronto. Okay, this next clip is a real moment in history. This is me and Joe learning in real time about a movie that would become very important to both of us.
I don't know if Song Sung Blue, the Craig Brewer adaptation of a documentary starring Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, is coming out this year or not.
Whoa.
But that sounds juicy.
Wow.
Interesting.
I just love how thrilled we were to find out about it.
Oh my God. It began in that moment. Kate's ride to the Oscar nomination.
Taking away Amanda Seyfried's Oscar nomination in the process.
Listen, as I said to my Vulture colleagues that day, we can blame Emma Stone. We don't have to blame Kate Hudson.
Wow.
That's true.
Fine.
I will say I skipped over a part. We talked about Begonia a couple times in this episode, so we did know it was coming. I don't know that we got into it in too much depth, but we were aware Begonia.
We were aware of it, yeah.
Was on the horizon. There's a couple sections I didn't clip because they went on for a while. We talked about Colin Farrell for a long time because he was going to win an Emmy for The Penguin and then be back with Ballad of a Small Player and A Big Bold Beautiful Journey.
We
are the first people to bring up Ballad of a Small Player in 4 months.
Absolutely.
Colin Farrell having a low-key tough year last year. Nobody really talked about it because
while winning an Emmy in the process. He didn't win for Penguin, right? Or did he lose to the Adolescence
Stephen Graham
guy?
Win that Emmy?
I don't remember. He won a Golden Globe. Colin Farrell won something. It was for
everything
the Penguin.
was Adolescence except for
Kristen Milioti.
Yeah. Who gave that fantastic speech.
Sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, so Colin Farrell, we stopped talking about those movies the second they hit the theaters.
Early September. It was very quickly over.
Yeah.
When I wowoke up from the screening at Telluride for Ballad of a Small Player, I immediately crossed it off my
You were
picks.
in the theater asleep, and then you woke up. Because that's played opposite Hamnet, I think. And it was the...
Yeah, I remember going to Ballad of a Small Player. I was like, Eddie Berger back. Let's get him a Best Director nomination. And
well, you
it
talk
was
about
horrible.
Testament of Ann Lee being a tough sit. Ballad of a Small Player is
difficult.
a tough sit.
A challenging movie.
Now, I never saw it. I didn't.
You're fine. You're real fine. And now with another Edward Berger movie on the horizon, all of a sudden now it's like he couldn't miss. And then all of a sudden it's just like, well, when he missed huge.
Real hard. Yeah. It's probably better for him to have some moderate expectations.
He kind of reminds me of, is it like a Stephen Daldry vibe on Edward Berger?
Now you watch yourself there.
Are you saying that is his trash? Stephen Daldry's trash?
Yes, I guess so. Where he can't miss and then he misses?
Yeah. No, it's true. Every winning streak comes to an end. And
so we talked about the Colin Farrell streak, and then we talked a lot about Anne Hathaway for movies that are almost all coming out this year. So we'll get back.
Run that back. You can just run it now.
That's true. Well, I didn't clip it, but it does lead directly into another very funny moment that you have to hear the audio version of. So we'll get to that. Anne Hathaway staying booked and busy is something I think we can all get behind. Anyone 100%. You guys are looking at who is going to be all over the place?
I feel like Josh O'Connor.
Take it away.
There you go.
It's so good.
Top of mind. Yeah.
I mean, when are we not thinking about Josh O'Connor?
It's true. And it's another, we're already looking at another possibly big Josh O'Connor year. So.
Dude says he's going to take a break and then he just doesn't do it. I mean, none of his movies got him an Oscar nomination, which made sense in the end, like as great as he is in all of them, basically. But I'm just proud of us for being on top of it.
Yes, the cultural zeitgeist is Josh O'Connor now. So yes, we'll
Joe, you said you had History of Sound in your Best Picture predictions.
I did.
Chris Rosen, were you as high on History of Sound
100%.
as well? Okay,
I was in sounded like a great material movie coming off like The Substance with a more Oscar-friendly movie.
From
I was
the
like,
director
this is gonna
of
be,
Living. Yeah.
Right. I was like, all of these things like lined up. I was like, Josh O'Connor, Best Supporting Actor, Paul Mescal, Best Actor, let's go. And then no, it just died. So bummer.
Okay, so we talked about A24. We kind of went studio by studio. We talked about Eddington for a little while. I think we all know how that turned out. And then there's another interesting clip to get into on the A24 side of things.
The Celine Song movie Materialists with Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans is a romantic comedy of all things. About a matchmaker. Like, hell fucking yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Supposedly the reference point for this movie, though, is broadcast news. So if we're getting Celine Song's broadcast news, And in the same year as
maybe a new James L. Brooks movie and Ella McKay, like, then we're really eating. Were we?
I want to do that Ron Howard voiceover from Arrested Development meme for Chris being like, I'm hearing it's like broadcast news, and just Ron Howard being like, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
You can still see how it might have been an inspiration. I mean, I don't necessarily think that's a bad call. That movie was a hit. That movie made
that's the thing.
money.
That's true.
Especially by A24 like standards, that movie made a lot of money.
I just have never spoken to any. No, that's not true. Griffin Newman really liked it, and we talked about it.
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't love it. But I thought
Materialist
is pretty good.
I think it worked out in the end. I mean, A24 is interesting just in how their Oscar hopes went nowhere. Like that, them getting completely blanked at the Oscars in the end after this wide range of movies that we talked about in last year's episode is just still surprising to me. Not that I think that there's anything obvious that it should have won. I mean, to me, I guess aside. But yeah, it was a weird spot for A24 last year.
It was. And I think combined with the fact that the narrative of Neon sort of taking their spots, you know, having fully kind of taken their spot as the premier indie distributor, I'm now interested to see if like A24 invests itself in taking that back, or whether they're just like going to try to, because like you keep hearing about how A24 wants to, you know, break out of just this like indie Oscar, you know, realm and whatever. But like looking at what they have coming in this year ahead, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see what's coming.
I'm very excited for at least two of their movies that could be coming out this year.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the movies we talked about last year from them are now coming out this year, which is just an interesting timeline thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip another clip because we did mention Rose Byrne possibly getting an Oscar nomination. Good for us for believing in it. And then we moved on from A24 to another award season giant. Let's hear the next clip.
Netflix is Netflix, but we should probably mention it just because they have their usual wagon load of films that they're bringing to the table, and we can all sort of wring our hands. But like reliably, 2 or 3 of them really do jump into the race, and it's a matter of I will be shocked if Noah Baumbach's Jay Kelly doesn't.
We were all shocked.
I deserve that. That's fine. Yeah.
I mean, the J. Kelly hype lasted a long time.
It did. It did. Yes.
On paper, that could have really won. We talked about this last year, Katey.
Absolutely.
It could have won Netflix. It could have won Best Picture in Another World.
Even
It
after
wasn't
I had
good enough
seen
or
it, I was
whatever.
like, well, Hollywood people will go for this.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hollywood people were
Absolutely.
like, actually, you
The
thought.
saddest part of that still to me is I remember on the previous Oscar ceremony, Sandler showing up and doing the bit with Chalamet and being like, well, he's going to be back next year.
I know.
It already feels like it's a done deal.
Yeah. No, you talked about it for a while toward the end of the episode, just about how it was like Sandman's time. And I really thought, like, very close to the end that Sandler could pull through, like, even if the rest of J. Kelly fell apart. But, you know, I mean, it was a strong year overall. Like, it was hard for something that was kind of on the meh side of things. Like, Amelia Perez wouldn't have stood a chance in this mix, I don't think. We were just so down on Netflix after Amelia Perez from last year.
I think
It's really
that's true.
striking.
Yeah.
We
I
also,
think the thing with my theory with Sandler, as I've mentioned on our podcast, is I think when he does have his Oscar breakthrough, it's not going to be a supporting performance. It's going to be a lead. It's going to be, you know, him. It's going to be another Punch Drunk Love kind of a thing. Except
like
now we're
Uncut
ready.
Gems, but less
we're ready
intense.
to accept it. Yeah.
What's his King Richard, basically? That would be what he wins for.
Him working with PTA again would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
Yes.
assume they're still on good terms. I don't know if they ever crossed paths in this past season, but that would be great.
Yes.
We completely glossed over Frankenstein. Like, we spent a sentence on it and talked a little bit longer about A House of Dynamite. And then we got into Cannes and kind of looking ahead because last year, as with this year, we were recording right before the Cannes lineup came out. And Chris Feil, you called a really good shot on this next clip.
Oh.
The one I'm really, really curious about is Joachim Trier's follow-up to The Worst Person in the World.
Hell yeah.
Called Sentimental Value. Neon has this movie. He really feels like someone who could very easily fill up an Oscar slot, considering or graduate to Oscar beyond the nominations that last film got. There's also American performers in this movie, in addition to Renata Reinsve, Corey Michael Smith, and Elle Fanning, I believe. So you can imagine that a portion of this movie is going to be in English.
I just love Corey Michael Smith being the top of the list.
We Corey Michael Smith fans were primed for something very different with that movie.
I totally
I believe
forgot
he
was
maybe
in
has
it.
like 15 seconds of screen time.
But yeah, Joachim Trier had exactly the breakthrough you predicted. You knew it was coming.
Who's next? Who will be next? This Cannes.
We'll see. But no, it was like, because the Cannes breakthroughs can be really hard to predict. But with Worst Person in the World, like, Trier just seemed so like he was going to, I mean, Sentimental Value kind of in the end, I guess, other than Stellan Skarsgård not winning, kind of did exactly what we thought it would do from a year in advance, which is fascinating.
Yeah, I think that was, as educated guesses go, it was well deduced. I think the police work there was sound.
Yeah, we gave ourselves all the clues.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. We got another clip about Cannes, and I don't remember what it's about.
Oh, no.
It looks funny, and I don't remember what it is. So let's hear what movie we predicted.
Another film I think we can expect to see at Cannes, though maybe not in the Oscar race, considering what happened with Asteroid City, is The Phoenician Scheme, Wes Anderson's next movie. I think we were all kind of heartbroken to see that not really get an Oscar play. We'll see what happens with this one.
I don't trust these Philistines with Wes Anderson movies anymore. You don't appreciate shit.
Agree.
Joe
right
was
about
right
that
to
one.
say it. He should say it again. Phoenician Scheme was great, and everybody dogged on it.
It is just, it's wild that even with Benicio del Toro running through Oscar season, it just never got talked about.
Never got talked about at all. Yeah. Yeah,
don't
even
get
as
it.
like enhancement to his case for winning. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, Chris Rosen, you and I haven't talked about this as much as I know Joe and Chris have. Like, what's the deal with Wes Anderson and the Oscars these days?
Not great, I guess. I'm not a fan of these movies. I think I'm a Philistine. I thought Phoenician Scheme was like his worst in a long time. So I'll always hope
So you are
springs
the
for the next Wes
problem.
Anderson. But yeah, it is interesting that Benicio, who was actually good in that movie, got nothing. No one even talked about it. And to your point, like even with the book to boost one battle, it is strange. They're just completely forgotten about. So I don't know.
It was wild. Do we know what his next movie is going to be? He usually doesn't take super long between projects.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything. I'm sure he's got something cooking with the same 12 actors that he's been working with incessantly for the last 5 years. Not that I'm bitter or anything.
We're going to wake up one day and there's going to be like 5 new Roald Dahl shorts by Wes Anderson.
I mean, that's the punishment we deserve, and we'll let Chris Rosen run things. Okay, we're heading toward the end. We start getting toward back to the major studios. Kind of talking about, I think I talked about it and didn't clip it, about how, Oppenheimer being this big success for a major studio. Could that happen again? And here's a couple of examples coming up, one less so than the other. Let's start with the first one.
Other performances, though, I can't imagine I'm going to have the guts to make this my Oscar pick. So I just want to say, Derek Cianfrance is back with a movie. It is called Roofman. It stars Channing Tatum.
Yeah, it does.
I could not be more excited. It is about a roofman.
What if there was a roofman?
What if there was
the correct?
Joe, you were totally right. Calling your shot on Roofman. What a good movie.
Yeah, it was a good movie. And Channing, in a better world, in a different Golden Globe environment, there would have been space on that musical or comedy actor lineup for him, and that's what I wanted for him.
Yeah. If we had treated Roofman better, would Kirsten Dunst be making The Housemaid 2?
Wait, is she making The Housemaid too?
Oh, Joe, yes.
What?
And Minecraft.
Minecraft.
No, it's great. The amount of great movies that is going to fund for both her and Jesse Plemons
Oh my God.
in the next decade is awesome. I'm so excited.
Let's look at it that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I consider
Honestly, I've yet to see The Housemaid, and I hear fun things about it.
I think
I
would
can't
like The
imagine. I
Housemaid.
have not seen it either. Chris Feil, have you seen it?
I have not.
Wow.
So the four of us who would I already know
We
that's
would
like a
all
4-star
like it.
letterbox
Yeah.
review for me. I cannot wait to see this.
Yeah.
It's going to be on Stars, I think. I'm going to get logged
gonna
in my
get
parents'
Stars?
cable. No, I'm logging in my parents' cable to watch it and be like, this is a 4-star, amazing, best picture winner.
It's Dune
I can't
Revenge
wait.
on steroids for you, Chris Rosen. Yes, it is.
I think we need a movie club. We need to all assign ourselves to watch
you
The
should.
Housemaid.
Yeah.
If we
Kirsten
were
Dunst.
still in the pandemic, we would be doing a Netflix party to watch
party.
The Housemaid.
Absolutely. Kirsten Dunst making Minecraft movie, though, is just ultimate boy mom behavior. Like, that's exactly what I would do if I were an actress. So anyway, justice for Roofman. I hope that everybody involved, well, we might be talking about Channing Tatum in a moment. So, okay, back to the major studios. I was getting toward the end of this re-listen, was getting a little nervous, and then I said what you're about to hear me say. I also don't know if I'm gutsy enough to predict this, but I know that Ryan Coogler's Oscar moment is going to come, and Sinners, from where we are here, a few weeks away from its release, looks
so excited.
incredible. Like Michael B. Jordan, another person whose Oscar moment is coming. I think the spring release dates should make us feel nervous, although the calendar keeps expanding. Like if you think of Anora having really opened in May at Cannes, like I don't think it's a disqualifier, but I just want to mention it. I have really high hopes for it, and I would really like it if like that was the studio movie that really made it through. Thank
Nice
God.
job.
I really
go,
worried
Katey.
we would not say anything about Sinners because it's hard to remember. Like
we have a spotty history with forgetting spring movies because
Absolutely.
Everything Everywhere All at Once year, I think, was the year where it was just we were looking so far ahead that we didn't see what was right in the spring.
Yeah.
To the point where I wonder if we're overcorrecting with some of the
Project
talk
Hail
around
Mary.
Project Hail
Yeah.
Mary right now.
Very possible.
And yet, I have always, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. You know what I mean? It's just like it's the thing that that people like is really valuable.
Yeah.
We've seen that with, I mean, we're not talking about the Emmys, but I feel like you've seen that with the Emmys lately, where it's like the early releases are actually better for Emmys because people already know they like it. I thought this was like White Lotus, like the early, like the first year of White Lotus. It was like, oh, this is just great. People like it. And then they're just going to let it like keep liking it, you know what I mean? And like, so like having something like Project Hail Mary or Sinners maybe early is actually good now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And one of the huge struggles that we know with, Academy voters or various awards body voters is getting to see everything. And this longer runway for movies that have more time to get seen, I think the past few years have been proving to show that it really helps.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how like the Cannes movies roll out, how, if the September release of One Battle After Another is destructive, there's interesting stuff. Just one more thing, and think Chris Rosen, I think you and I talked about this because I mentioned Coogler and Michael B. Jordan as people who were going to have their Oscar moments. The fact that they got it on the same night, like, is so special, and it never happens. Like, De Niro and Scorsese never won at the same time, and it just turned out so beautifully from how we were so curious and skeptical about it a year in advance. Okay, we're going to get to our Best Picture winner predictions. So we don't have to predict our 10, we just predict the winners. And One of us nailed it, and the other two didn't. And I don't know if anyone remembers, but we'll start with Joe.
Because my pick is, I'm just going to play it safe. Paul Thomas Anderson's been nominated 11 times. It's going to happen for him at some point. This movie, which we think is based on a Thomas Pynchon novel, but of course, as with every PTA movie, we don't know the title. He's being cagey about the plot and the inspiration, but we do know that it's Leonardo DiCaprio, it's Regina Hall, it's who else is in this movie? Benicio del Toro,
Sean Penn,
Alana Haim, of course, Tiana Taylor, and even if it's sort of vaguely sort of an offshoot of like a Pynchon type thing, the novel, now I can't remember the novel that it's supposed to be based on, but it is
Vineland.
Right. So the plot of that is sort of about counterculture revolutionaries in the sort of 60s and 70s and how that has met the modern era in some sort of thematic way. And I trust Paul Thomas Anderson to tell a story that does not sort of hit the politics nail on the head directly, but really makes it, incredibly clear what we're talking about. And I just think it's going to happen for him at some point. And this seems to be a really solid lane for him.
Joe, I gotta go.
I'm going to leave on a high note. I'm not going to do better than that today.
You're not.
I'm not.
It's not just that you predicted it, but you just laid out the entire thing so well, and down to not talking about the politics of it. I was so amazed by. I know it's a long clip, but. Wow,
the only thing I was wrong about was that Regina Hall was the second lead.
Yeah, I think we all thought that she was.
That's how it was reported when they cast that movie. I went back and looked. It was she's a lead of the movie.
That's
so I would love to know what happened to that.
I swear to God, I think that's why she remained in people's supporting actress predictions for so long. Yeah,
I'd love to know what happened with that. Why was she reported as the lead? Who knows?
Do you think she was going to play Perfidia Beverly Hills at some point?
I have no idea.
Was her character more prominent in the Vine? I know that it's obviously adaptation and PTA did his own thing with it, but is she more significant in the novel?
I don't think so. I did read Vineland. That was my true summer homework, and I did it, and I don't think that character is that big. But I know they changed it a lot as it was going. They talked about how they changed the third act entirely.
Yeah.
I bet the third act had more of her before they got in the car chase. Anyway, I'm just I don't think anyone has nailed the year ahead prediction as well as you have, Joe, in the 10 years we've been doing
real bad, some doozies in a bad way. The Color Purple year was rough. This gets me back on track. So yeah.
So you saw it coming. Speaking of some doozies, let's hear my prediction from last year. I'm going to stick with Nuremberg. I'm not making it a joke answer. I think why not? I'm ready to do some Nurembergs again. I don't know when we'll see this movie. I guess maybe it'll be sold at Cannes. Who knows? Joe, you had said your joke answer was going to be Nuremberg, which we thought was 3.5 hours long at that point, which I don't think is actually that long.
It's not that long. Yeah.
The thing about Nuremberg is, Katey, that was the last time anyone talked about Nuremberg, months before it was released.
It's on Netflix now. I saw it on the landing page.
It's a good movie to be on Netflix. I could see that being a movie where people just sort of fall into it and watch it.
Congratulations to all dads for that movie.
All the dads are thriving with Nuremberg right now.
Yep.
I don't think I really believed in it that much at the time. I just didn't have a better idea. So congrats to Nuremberg. It'll live. Actually, it did make weirdly a lot of money, I think. I feel like there were trade headlines about that.
It made a decent amount of money for the level at which it existed. So,
yeah. And then Chris Feil, we'll hear your pick to wrap this up.
Okay, maybe this is a little crazy, but it's a movie I feel like we need to mention, and I don't think we've mentioned it at all. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Darren Aronofsky's Caught Stealing.
Ooh,
interesting. I love this call. I love this call.
It's the release date is planned for late August. Of course, that could change too. Yeah. But then again, we could be looking at The Crow remake because that's when that was released last year.
Somewhere between Oscars and the Crow remake, I think, is where Caught Stealing landed.
Wow. The reaction in the room was that audio print ad where the guy's in the chair and is getting blown back. That was the four of us when we all heard Caught Stealing.
You guys said we were ready to forgive Darren Aronofsky for The Whale, and I think we still are.
I didn't not like Caught Stealing.
I
like Caught Stealing. I thought it was good.
He's
forgiven
time.
for The Whale. I forgave him for The Whale. For Caught Stealing.
That was good.
I've
been ready to move on.
But now he's making AI Revolutionary War TV shows. So we might
now
be
he's doing
back
AI.
to not forgiving him.
Yeah.
But it was a fun call. This is a reminder that sometimes you can just be completely clairvoyant like Joe, and sometimes you take a fun pick.
And you know what? We're all going to jail the exact amount of time, which is 0. So, like, no one's going to get thrown in jail for a bad pick.
No Nurembergs for our bad picks.
I get no money for my good pick, and you guys get no jail time for your bad picks, and that's how we do it.
This is going to be the prediction for next year, because next year Joe is going to be in jail. Katie's going to be in jail.
That does it with our flashback. It is so fun to listen. Just getting all this stuff on the record is incredibly fun. You guys ready to look ahead and make some wrong predictions?
My God, yes. Turn that page.
As usual, we're looking at Joe's massive spreadsheet with a ton of information. I've made myself a couple of categories to talk about these things in, and then we can vary from there. But I do think there are some obvious places to start with just movies that we've gotten a look at already, either in the terms of trailers or have played at festivals already. And we've mentioned it several times already. Let's start with Dune 3. How we feeling about Dune 3, you guys? Chalamet 4 for 4?
Good.
It looks really good. Knowing what I know, let's be honest, I have not read the Dune novels, but like knowing what I know about where this is going, it's only going to get weirder. And I think that's, I think Chalamet has said to that effect. And knowing that they cast Pattinson as a Tleilaxu face dancer, which is essentially...
What word did you just say?
Tleilaxu,
sure.
Which is, how the Bene Gesserit are their own little sect in Dune?
Sure, uh-huh.
It's another little sect, and they essentially, like, tinker with, like, biogeneration. They essentially just, like, they can create clones. They can create people who can change their appearance.
Incredible. And they all look like Rutger Hauer in Blade Runner, which is what Pattinson looks like in that trailer.
In that one, but he can also, he's a shapeshifter. So, and he's opposed to Chalamet, obviously. He's, if you wanted to, in the book, the opposition to Paul in Dune is multivalent, and there's a lot of people and a lot of things happening in a lot of corners of that universe. I imagine the movie, if they want to sort of funnel that all through this Pattinson character, that would work very well. And but there's the stuff with his sister, and Anya Taylor-Joy is in this, and
Florence Pugh's back.
What's that?
Florence Pugh's back, right?
Florence Pugh is back. Florence Pugh as his politically advantageous wife. Zendaya ended that second movie being opposed to,
now they're having a baby in the trailer.
2 babies. They're having.
They're having 2?
Spoiler. Yeah. Whatever. This book's been around for a long while.
Read the Wikipedia page like a normal person. That's what I did. If you're listening to this, just go.
Yeah.
Read the Wikipedia page. It's great.
Just like the IMDb page, you can see who's casting and what. Yes. Momoa's son is playing the son twin.
Oh. Okay, so the question I asked earlier when we were talking about Wicked for Good, are we taking any hesitation away from how Wicked for Good and Avatar Fire and Ash did into how we're thinking about Dune 3 in the Oscar race?
Chris, what are you going to say?
I mean, I think that on at least a crafts level, Dune is more respected in that way. I mean, not to say that those other movies aren't respected, but I still feel like you could see it showing up in more categories than, either Avatar or Wicked for Good did, obviously. So I'm not fully ruling it out, but there does seem to be a trend of, people moving on once a franchise has reached a certain point.
Yeah. Chris,
I could see diminishing returns. The thing about the Dune movies, though, is they've never been acting plays. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just that won't be that would be probably your first sort of area of erosion if support dies out. That's not going to apply anyway. I think if people are looking at Dune 3 as a possible Best Picture winner, I would probably encourage them to slow their roll there. But if it becomes a bigger hit, this is the thing, is if the narrative on Dune 3 is, it's a bigger hit than Dune 2, then maybe. Then all of a sudden it look at what Villeneuve has been able to do.
If it destroys Marvel and we all get to dance on superhero grave or something.
I mean, this is a whole other conversation, but I can't imagine Marvel doesn't move that release date. If you don't have the IMAX screens, your box office is going to look bad. And why would
such
you
a
do that
crazy
to
thing
yourselves?
happening right now.
Well, and Dune was actually shot with IMAX cameras, so they're gonna be able to keep those dates unless they've
got exclusivity from what I have
completely
heard.
removed,
Yeah,
Right?
no, IMAX, the IMAX screen, the turf war over IMAX is a fascinating thing to watch.
It is.
This is one thing I think that could be a strength for Dune Part 3 in that it is probably going to be the last movie that people see in the awards race, when it'll actually arrive, being the late breaking
they're not
movie.
going to pre-screen it for anybody. They're not going to do festivals, obviously.
No, I'm sure they won't.
Yeah.
Okay, I want someone else to pick something from movies that we've already gotten a look at one way or another that you want to put forward. Chris Rosen, you pick one.
I'm going to pick Wild Horse 9, which I'm very bullish on.
Wait, who has seen Wild Horse 9?
No one has, just a trailer.
the trailer.
We're talking just in terms of trailers.
I didn't even know we had a trailer.
Oh, really?
Sorry.
Yeah, the trailer came out last week. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah,
John
okay.
Malkovich, just like...
I'm weighing on
Yeah.
this. I think this, if I had to pick like one of these movies that I think could win, it's this right now. I think it's like...
Tell us more about it, Chris, for anyone who didn't see the trailer.
It's Martin McDonagh back again after Banshees of Inisherin and obviously 3 Billboards. It's got John Malkovich and Sam Rockwell playing like CIA agents who go into South America, right?
They're on
in
Easter
the 1970s. Island. Okay, right. Easter Island in the 1970s and trying to basically start a coup, it seems, right? Is that the idea of the trailer or whatever? It's got In Bruges vibes. It's got like political resonance vibes. And then like John Malkovich doing like incredibly entertaining things. It looks just like a good time. And that Searchlight already put out a trailer. I was like, oh, they're like... Because I've been worried about Searchlight last year with all their series of flops. They had a rough year. So I feel like this is like, hey, we're back. And this is going to be like a big thing. And I think down the line, you could see, but like to what you were saying, Joe, about Dune, I do feel like if you have like the actors in this movie, it's got Steve Buscemi and Parker Posey and like a bunch of different people.
Tom Waits, baby.
Yes.
Yeah.
It could be like an acting play, like a SAG kind of like, I'm trying, when I look at this, I'm like, where are the branches going to be coalescing? And I'm like, McDonagh has director's branch, maybe writer's branch, actors liking this. I don't know, unless it's bad, obviously. But if it's not bad, I think this is like a really strong, like across the board contender for next year. So that's where I would go.
Yeah.
My
I
only
think folks
thing in
should
this.
be-
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
Go ahead. Oh, I was going to say, I think folks should be reminded off the top that Steve Buscemi has never been nominated for an Oscar.
That's what and Malkovich has never won.
And Malkovich has never won. Yep,
Yeah.
that's true. It would be his third nomination, fourth nomination.
I looked it up. I think he was nominated twice.
Places in the Heart and In the Line of Fire.
Yeah, I
and then
think
it
so.
would be possibly this.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, so when the trailer came out, Vanity Fair did a first look that Rebecca Ford did, and I asked her like, does this mean they're releasing it at Cannes? Is it coming sooner than we think? And she's like, no, I don't think so. He likes Venice, so as
They're
far as
just
I can
getting
tell,
the word out early. That's a
Yeah,
good
which is
indicator
great.
of confidence. And that's,
I mean, same with Dune 3, right? They put that trailer out the day after the Oscars as a real show of strength.
I just feel like from this far ahead, if we can tell that the studio is really going to put their shoulder behind it, then that's a really good indicator.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Joe, what else has a trailer or has been seen somewhere that you were intrigued by?
I mean, I'll delve into the Sundance of it all.
Sure.
I was not as top of the line over the moon about Josephine, but I was in the minority. Most people declared that as like the thing to know out of Sundance. I mean, if you look at the success of something like Train Dreams, obviously they're two very different movies, but I think it shows that like being the breakthrough Sundance movie is still going to get you taken seriously. And I think there is always going to be an appeal for the smaller movie amid, as, Best Picture gets bigger and bigger and bigger, but like there is still an appeal to get something small, intimate, serious-minded. I think this is a movie that is going to be afforded a lot of, I think, respect and...
Do you want to tell us more about who made it, who's in it?
Oh, sure. Beth DeRujo directed this movie. It is about a little girl who witnesses a sexual assault and is traumatized. Almost feels like the wrong word for it, but like the whole movie is her parents, Channing Tatum and Gemma Chan, trying to figure out how to get her through her reaction to it and sort of the different approaches to raising a young girl in a world where this kind of thing can happen, and you know, the mother and the father disagree with it, and it causes conflict, and then the little girl ends up sort of reacting to it in this very internal way that the movie, you know, guides you through.
Yeah.
I think some things work better in the movie than others. I think Channing Tatum is quite good, and if this ends up being an area where he can get a supporting actor nomination and get his first Oscar nomination, I think that's a really strong narrative.
Is it fraud to put him in supporting?
I don't think so. I think you
Chris,
can say that.
Did you guys see Josephine?
I did.
I did.
I'm on
I
Joe's
agree
side.
with Joe.
Yeah, it was not my favorite movie. I thought some of it was really impressive stuff. Some places, and then kind of like, not to spoil it, but I felt like when it gets towards the end, it feels like, I don't know, where there's a trial and stuff. I was just like, this is my cousin Vinny coded, but pejoratively,
Oh, no.
I would say, like
Oh,
a couple
no.
of scenes.
Yeah.
But Channing Tatum is great, and the little girl whose name I unfortunately can't remember
she is
is
great in it.
amazing in it. And obviously, kids don't really get nominations typically, but you could fraud her in support. I mean, who knows? Like, because she's a kid,
Yeah,
do
I
they
mean,
fraud
you
her in
could- yes,
supporting
Whale
too?
Rider
Like,
in
do
who
it either way
cares?
you
Like,
wanted.
yeah.
The thing about Channing Tatum, I agree that Channing Tatum's terrific in this movie, and probably my favorite thing about the movie. He is in quite a bit of the movie. It's hard to argue that he's, you know, the protagonist of the movie, but he is really terrific in it.
Yeah.
He's great. He would be a great Oscar nominee.
Gemma
if it
Chan
happens.
is an actress I like a lot. I don't think she's served very well by the writing of her character.
She has a
in
good
that
dance
movie.
sequence. I
Joe,
do.
we should, and Chris, we should all be friends because I feel like we have such great similar ideas.
I mostly agree. Maybe I like Josephine best in the group, but I do. It does just feel more like an acting play than anything else. I mean, Train Dreams even like had so much craft to it that was so like there was a sweep to it that was evident even when it was sold just a Sundance darling. That I'm not totally sure Josephine has, but
Wait,
we'll
Chris
see.
Rosen, what is your acting play out of Sundance that you were thinking of when I was talking about that?
John Turturro with the Sony Classics
Oh,
movie,
okay.
Only Pickpocket in New York.
I didn't see that one.
It feels exactly to me like Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon
Or
kind of
Living
thing,
for Bill
Living
Nye.
for Bill
Yeah,
Nye.
I could see
like,
that.
You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I haven't seen that movie, and I heard it's very good. But like people love John Turturro.
Yes,
and
I think,
you could
and
see,
he's never
like,
been nominated before.
No,
Yeah.
and so I think there's a great narrative there, and Sony knows how to do that. And while this is like again a packed Best Actor year with a lot of like all stars like
Yeah.
at the top, like
Yeah.
I do think you could imagine a world where he kind of quietly sneaks in at the end.
Yeah.
so
Wait,
that would
wait,
be
wait.
my Sundance pick.
I was going to have Chris Feil pick the next movie, but I can't resist jumping on this because we threw out John Turturro's never been nominated. We threw out Steve Buscemi's never been nominated. John Goodman completing the
gonna
Big
bring up John
Lebowski
Goodman.
group.
That's great. I
Is
have
it
him in there too.
Digger?
Yes,
Wow.
let's go.
Oh my
go.
God, what a
Get
narrative.
Jeff Bridges presents. It's all goes to one of
Get
them.
on that reunion. Big Lebowski reunion this year.
Yeah, no, Chris Feil,
Can we just get the
you're-
opposite of the second Christoph Waltz Oscar year where nobody in the category has ever been nominated?
That would be
Can we
cool.
get the opposite of that?
Yeah.
Chris Feil, do you want to talk about Digger since you said you were going to bring it up?
Well, I was definitely wanted to bring up John Goodman, though we know so little about this movie, and what we do know is that it's a showcase for Tom Cruise so far, pairing up with Iñárritu. I believe they're shooting on VistaVision as well. This is going to be in IMAX. We can definitely expect it on the fall circuit before it opens in October.
Is Iñárritu a
it
Venice guy?
I'm sorry?
Is Iñárritu a Venice guy? Should we
Yes,
expect it there?
yes.
Okay, so Venice is once again going to be major.
He's been in Cannes before, but it seems like this movie is more likely placed for Venice.
Yeah.
Or Telluride. But like, yes, it could be the play for Tom Cruise. It also sounds like Iñárritu is going more of like a strange love type of political satire route where there's an apocalyptic element to this movie. And Tom Cruise is playing some type of billionaire. And then there's also other people in the cast like Jesse Plemons and Sandra Hüller. Sandra Hüller really back
Big
in
year
full
for
force
Sandra
again this
Hüller.
year.
Yeah.
We just can't ever have one Sandra Hüller. We have to have many Sandra Hüllers in a given year.
So what you're
and
saying
I'm all
is
for it.
Iñárritu is up to big normal stuff in this movie.
You know, as he is prone to do,
Yeah.
normal things.
Do we feel ready for the Tom Cruise Oscar moment? Do we feel like this is the time?
I do. I'm in. I'm like Paul Newman, Color of Money. He won the honorary Oscar and then he won the Oscar. And that's exactly, I'm expecting that to happen here unless this movie washes out. Like, I don't know. I think like, why not? This is, if I had to pick between, we'll do this at the end, but I think this is another like potential Best Picture winner, I would argue. Digger.
Wow.
I think you could, like the cast we were talking about, like, other things I'm looking at is like, where are you going to get like double supporting actor nominees or actress, which we've seen now over and over again. I think Wild Horse 9, certainly you could be like, oh, Sam Rockwell and Steve Buscemi would be like, makes sense on paper. But what if it's John Goodman and Jesse Plemons for this movie with the sight unseen, who knows what they're even in? But I think both those actors, like Jesse Plemons certainly was probably 6th this year for Begonia, right? And Best Actor. So I feel like there's going to be a world where it's like, oh, we could get in for supporting.
Yeah.
And yeah, Cruise, sure. I'm like very excited for this. What does a Tom Cruise Oscar campaign look like?
Careful, very strategic. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he pulls the Leo and gives us more of him than we expect. But I think Tom Cruise is like a lot more, in the bubble than even Leo is. So I don't know. Maybe it's like Sean Penn and he's barely there. Because Paul Newman didn't show up to accept his Oscar for The Color of Money. It was the last living winner until Sean Penn. So maybe this. I mean, I cannot imagine a world in which Tom Cruise does not show up if he is nominated for Digger. That just does not seem like his style.
If Tom Cruise isn't going to show up, then they shouldn't nominate him. Like, they need to like nail him down. They need to be like, you are showing up.
We're putting you in the Dolby Theater in January and you cannot leave.
Yeah. I mean, you can conduct business from there, but like for the next 3 months, this is where you live. Yeah.
You could argue he almost got nominated for Top Gun.
Oh,
so I think if he's in like a real movie, like not that I love Top Gun, not that it's not a real movie,
he
but
showed
you know
up
what I mean?
enough
Like,
in that season, you would have thought he was nominated. That's how much he showed up.
If this is like a real movie with Iñárritu, who obviously won Leo an Oscar, I'm like, it's just on paper, it makes so much sense. But like, then is it Sandler redo where it's like, oh, we all expect it, and then he doesn't even get nominated? Is that possible too?
I'm excited to see Tom Cruise give up a level of control, and I'm assuming that that's what's going to happen. I mean, I can't imagine that Iñárritu is going to fall in line like Joseph Kosinski or what's his name from the Mission Impossible movies?
Christopher McQuarrie.
Christopher McQuarrie. Sorry to this man.
Yeah.
I just feel like we might be seeing the first actual Tom Cruise performance in a very, very long time, and I'm intrigued about that. Tom Cruise is. I have a rough relationship with Tom Cruise, but like this intrigues me.
It could just be a variation on what he did in Tropic Thunder, which, if you will remember, got him a Golden Globe nomination.
Yeah, sure did.
Well, sure did.
Yeah. I can't believe you guys have let this go this long without us talking about the Odyssey. So I'm just going to jump in.
I was going to bring
Chris Feil, talk about the Odyssey.
I mean, it's the
Odyssey.
The Odyssey is just like it looms large on the horizon because it's going to be this huge, giant movie. I mean, it's Christopher Nolan's first movie after Oppenheimer, so like on that regard, you could see how the Academy would maybe not be so quick to award him again. But there's something about the scale of this movie that is unlike anything else we kind of have on the horizon, in that it's Christopher Nolan. It's a huge budget, shot entirely with IMAX cameras on several continents, and yet absolutely nothing about it feels like a gamble. Like it feels like such a sure bet that we're all going to show up for this giant movie about one of the most ancient texts that we have in all of literature.
Christopher Nolan's power is that he's going to get the dumbest people into Homerian epic, like
great.
Great. Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, what is the floor for Oscar nominations for the Odyssey? 8? Like, it's hard for me to imagine it getting fewer than that. 5, maybe. I don't know.
Picture, director, screenplay, and
all
then,
those crafts. Like it's just there's just so many places. Even if it doesn't win anything, it just seems impossible.
I'm curious
not to
about with it is also like, so when we mentioned like Dune Part 2 had 5 nominations and was originally supposed to come out the same year Oppenheimer was, right? Like they pushed it back a year, and it would have been interesting to think about those categories after Dune had won 6 Oscars previously. Like, how would the Nolan-Villeneuve crafts battle wage? And now this year we're actually going to see that.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'll be very curious to see how that plays out. Obviously, like we're saying, like I think Odyssey will have the 2, what is it? What was that cliche you said, Joe? Like 2 in a hand or whatever? Bird in a hand.
2 in a hand.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So Odyssey will have that because it comes out in the summer.
Yeah.
But like, I'll be very curious to see how it plays out. I'll be very curious to see how like the acting potential plays out there, because like you have Matt Damon. So, like, Best Actor, we said Tom Cruise. We mentioned briefly, like, Project Hail Mary and Ryan Gosling, which we could talk about probably. And then Damon, those are, like, 3 huge movie stars doing movie star shit, I'm assuming, in the movies, right? And, like, will Damon, though, actually be too much of a cipher then? And, like, or is Tom Holland actually the lead? And, like, Damon is kind of, like, the lead. And then, like, I don't know. So I'll be curious to see that. Or is this like where, as people having a big year, is this like, oh, well, definitely Anne Hathaway will get in like for this as a supporting actress, and this will be like her one nomination for the 4 movies she has this year.
Or is she just wife on a cliffside? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Especially for like a Nolan movie.
You know, dress sort of blowing in the breeze.
You will not catch me doubting Anne Hathaway ever. She is never just wife on cliffside.
I'm just saying purely in terms of size of role. I'm not saying in terms of performance. But the thing that this was sort of, we were at with Oppenheimer in terms of the cast, right? Where it was just like, everybody's in Oppenheimer. It was this whole, and then you watched it, and then like immediately you were like, oh, well, Robert Downey Jr. is winning the Oscar.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm sort of interested to see what the Odyssey's version of that is, where we walk out and just like, clearly so-and-so.
And we just have no way. I mean, John Bernthal, maybe. It seems like he's been visible in the little bit of trailer we have so far.
But like Wazamo's also been visible.
Right
and
oh, yeah. Zendaya's in there.
What if it's like
Lupita's
Lupita
in there.
Nyong'o? Like it's
Charlize Theron playing Cersei sounds rad as hell.
I want to get bullish on Damon at this point. Like thinking about The Martian again with Project Hail Mary coming out. Like he is really good at that like anchoring movie star thing. He does not have an acting Oscar. I think he would be well deserving of one. Like if we have this Clash of the Titans with him and Tom Cruise in the Oscar race, like great. That's what we deserve. So bring it on.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be fun. And then who's the perfect counterpoint third? Like 2 of these things, like one of these 3 are not like the other. Like you would get somebody
for Dune 3. Throw him in there.
I almost feel like your third has to be like somebody like a non-American.
It needs to be like Wagner Moura or whoever this year's version of Wagner Moura is.
Who's their Wagner Moura?
I got one who's American.
I got one too.
Jafar Jackson for Michael.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, guys.
Frozen.
Sorry, guys. See you in Best Picture. Michael with the Best Actor nomination for Jafar.
No.
SAG nominee, Golden Globe nominee. You know, we'll see.
Is this movie going to be a gigantic hit like everyone's saying it's going to be?
It's going to make so much money.
Yeah.
We know they like musical biopics. That's all I'll say.
Bohemian Rhapsody lives.
Even A Complete Unknown, which I thought was good. Like, they love that kind of shit. And I'm just like, I can't. That movie is cursed, but I'm in.
We are overdue for a real shitbag Oscar winner.
This was a tweet. Like, it was like after Oppenheimer and Nora and the movie that won Best Picture this year, that's one battle after another. I could not get its name. After Nora, Oppenheimer, one battle after another. Like statistically, we are due for
we are really
terrible
due
Best
for
Picture
some
winner.
regression. Yep.
Or even like a Coda. You know, like it could just go weird this year.
Being Human back again for Sean Hayter.
That's true. I mean, I liked Coda fine. Who knows?
I like Coda a lot. I think it's good.
I'm intrigued about that movie. They've got to change the title. I can't take it seriously if they're punning off of this woman's last name.
What is this movie again?
She's a disability activist in the 1970s.
Who's in it?
I can't. Give me a second.
I'm Googling it. Hang on.
I'm in Joe's spreadsheet. Ruth Madeley?
I think Mark Ruffalo is in it as well.
And Dylan O'Brien. Beloved by everyone
Mark
on this
Ruffalo
call.
and Dylan O'Brien. Yes, but Ruth Madeley is the lead in it. She plays Judy Human.
Judith Human.
Judy Human, who was a disability rights activist in the 1970s. She led a 28-day occupation of the Federal Building in San Francisco for disability rights.
So we're going to have
I believe some of her story is documented in the Netflix documentary Crip Camp.
I was going to ask you. I thought I had remembered that. Yes.
We're going to have that and I Swear, BAFTA villain, also about a disability rights advocate.
Can we talk about I Swear for half a second?
Sure.
Yes. There's no way they're touching that movie with a 10-foot pole, right?
No.
I don't After what happened at BAFTAs, they are absolutely not going to do that.
I don't think so.
I also don't
Sony
think
Classics is releasing it in like a month.
Yeah,
I also didn't think it. Even if the only reason people even thought about it was because he somehow won Best Actor, right?
He's
but like
good
no
in
one
that
was
movie.
taking it. I'm sure he is, but like no one's going to take it seriously as like an Oscar contender. And then he won BAFTA, which I think says more about Timmy than him winning.
Sure.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
So like.
Yeah.
Can I shoot my shot on my Best Actor candidate that is in a movie we haven't talked about and we know very, very little about? So I could really just be out on a limb here. Lance Oppenheim has a movie coming out loosely based around To Catch a Predator starring Robert Pattinson. And Pattinson is going to be having a very, very big year.
Is he playing like the host of To Catch a Predator, whatever that guy's name is?
Yes, basically that kind of figure. I don't believe it's... We don't know enough necessarily about it, and it's coming out from A24, whether he is explicitly playing Chris Hansen or not.
This is prime time,
these are
Chris?
kind of prime time, which may or may not even be the title. They're keeping seemingly a lid on it. When it shot semi in secret without saying who the cast was, and then all of a sudden there's Robert Pattinson filming with Merritt Weaver. So I feel like Pattinson is kind of perfectly placed to be getting, his first nomination for something and getting that type of respect as an actor. But you don't really see it happening for something like Dune or The Odyssey. But I think he's definitely reaching that point in his career. Yeah.
The fact that Pattinson doesn't have a nomination yet does feel increasingly strange.
Yeah, it feels like that's we're counting down to the first one, I feel like. I think that's a good pick. It's an A24 movie. You know who's in that supporting cast? Skylar Gisondo. All-star actor, my fave, Skylar Gisondo.
He's great.
I wanted to pivot to another A24 Oscar play, if I could.
Go for it.
There's a bunch of, Chris Rosen mentioned the accursed Michael Jackson biopic. There's a lot of biopics this year, Being Human being another one of them. I doubt we're going to hear much about the KJ Apa Jimmy Stewart biopic, but that is a movie that exists.
That's a movie we have a trailer of also.
That is a movie, period.
We also have a trailer for the David O. Russell, John Madden movie starring Nicolas Cage that I also don't think is going to be an Oscar play. We've got Joan Collins playing Wallace Simpson in a Mike Newell movie.
Wait, who's the other person in that? It's like her and someone else.
It is her and someone else, isn't it? Hold on. It's called The Duchess and I. Hold on.
I can't believe that Joan Collins, Isabella Rossellini.
Yes, that's right. It's Joan Collins and Isabella Rossellini in a movie about old Wallace Simpson. It's great.
Every single detail of this movie that gets told to me makes it sound more and more like a Chris Feil special.
The one I think holds the most promise, because I'm the most how is that going to turn out, is the Anthony Bourdain biopic starring Dominic Sessa. I think coming off of The Holdovers, Dominic Sessa is on a good trajectory. I think there's a lot of goodwill for him from that movie. I also feel like it's the director of Blackberry.
Nirvana. Oh, yeah, Nirvana the band.
The band, the show, the movie. Yeah. And Nirvana the band, the show, the movie was such a unexpected, small scale success this past January, in terms of that movie made $3 million at the box office, which is $3 million more than I would have expected it to make at the box office. And him directing it makes me feel like, this is not going to be a typical by the numbers, biopic. And I think Bourdain is a beloved figure, and I think there's going to be a lot of it's going to be a high bar to clear for those people.
People are going to be mad about it.
People are going to be mad about it, but I also feel like that could just be an online thing, you know what I mean? And, we have learned in the past that, sometimes these, controversies really can just stay in the bubble of, online and away from this. And I just feel like if you're going to give me a biopic, because we saw this year that, the Springsteen thing didn't work. There's, the biopics kind of all crashed out this year. And this is the one I've decided to put my chips on.
You want to talk about Dominic Sessa and the trajectory he's on? If you had seen it, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, as I did on a plane,
is he good?
You would know. He's great in it. I love these movies deeply.
Likely thing for him to
Dominic
be.
Sessa and Justice Smith, excellent at being in dumb movies.
I love those guys. Yes, I should see that movie. Yeah,
I'm
on a plane. I gotta fly somewhere soon.
You gotta fly somewhere.
I don't want to go on air travel right now because it seems like a nightmare.
But I think you have to see Now You See Me Don't in its proper environment.
Would they let me just sit on an airplane and watch a movie and then go home?
Well, your airplane's not going anywhere anyway, so you may as well just sit there. Wait, I don't want to get too far into this before saying Project Hail Mary, because just
we got to talk about that.
For the record, and also, Chris Rosen and I went deep on it on last week's episode, so we don't have to go too far. We were pretty bullish on it Oscar-wise, and
people love this movie.
But the more that we talk about Dune 3 and the Odyssey, the more nervous I get about it, because it's a really big competition for big studio scale sci-fi adventure stuff. And it's only been a week since we talked about this, so I don't want to retract everything that I said, but I do wonder how that competition's going to look.
I mean, Project Hail Mary, just from those movies alone, stands out because it's much more optimistic. It's definitely going to be the more heartwarming of those three.
Yes. Yeah.
So that could be,
I also think, like, in terms of, like, the actor, I mean, like, I think Ryan Gosling of those three, sight unseen, and on the Odyssey and Dune, I'm like, he feels like head and shoulders above these guys, no matter what they're doing.
As a
because
best
it's like the
actor
movie.
play? Yes, 100%.
The whole movie. And like, again, like, people really like him. Obviously, he got nominated for Barbie. So I think, like, the strength of that, like, I think Lord and Miller are not likely to get nominated, I would say, in terms of, like, from that branch or just in general. But, like, picture, actor, and then, like, a handful of crafts and screenplay feels, like, really right to me. And then I'll be interested. We didn't even talk about, like, we were talking about, like, Anne Hathaway and Robert Pattinson. Sandra Hüller obviously could have a huge year, right? Which she had Rose, 1949, maybe at Cannes, which is a Paul Pawlowski movie, right? And then obviously she's also in Digger, I think, as a supporting actress, and Project Hail Mary. It'll be interesting to see where she gets nominated from those four, but wouldn't it be funny if she actually ends up getting nominated for Project Hail Mary, because it's like people just really like it, and it's like first
she's the Robert Downey Jr. and Oppenheimer.
Who knows? I mean,
she also won an award at Berlin this year.
I was going to say, Rose is the movie she won the award for at Berlin. What is that movie about? Do we know?
I don't really
I forget off the top of my head, but I don't think it has U.S. distribution yet. But, we could have
I'm reading the Wikipedia.
Another.
It's set in the 17th century. It follows a mysterious soldier, Rose, Sandra Hüller, a woman disfigured as a man, disguised as a man, who appears in a secluded Protestant village.
Oh, yeah. The picture from the movie, it's in black and white. She's got a hat. She's like chewing on some straw, like a necklace. Yeah. She got something in her mouth. It's like the most grim, like, this movie won an award at a European Film Festival image that you could imagine. But, Anatomy of a Fall seemed like it would be like that. That movie's a hell of a good time. So,
can I ask a question to the room? Because I genuinely don't know where I come down on it. Is The Adventures of Cliff Booth a thing we need to be paying attention to, or no?
I'm feeling pretty bullish on The Adventures of Cliff Booth.
I am also.
The only reason I would be is because it's Fincher, because it's a different director bringing his POV to this character, which I think is, and it's a different, like, A-list director. It's not just like, a watered down whatever. For this movie to be a thing, you have to offer something beyond what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood did. You have to surprise people a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious as to what that will be.
Well, Fincher's such a different filmmaker than Tarantino. Yeah. I have to imagine it's going to be closer to the vein of Fincher.
Feels more like Zodiac.
But I would also say the Academy is going to have to eventually nominate Elizabeth Debicki for some.
So that was one, I thought. Elizabeth Debicki, certainly. And then I think, like, I was, like, bullish on it too, because I think you could go through, first of all, it's a field of 10, as we found. Like, if F1 is getting in and, like, boosted by its crafts, I'm like, you have Netflix. I actually think this is Netflix's big movie to me. I don't know. I'm not as high on Narnia, frankly, and I guess we'll see what else they have. But I'm like,
a doubter has entered the chat.
I mean, so you got this here, and then I'm like, you have Reznor Ross composing and Eric Messerschmidt, cinematographer, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, like, you could imagine those branches all, like, kind of putting it in their top 10, and then all of a sudden maybe it sneaks in. I don't think Fincher would get in probably for director. It seems unlikely. I mean, unless it's like a huge deal, and I don't think Pitt would get in for actor.
Why? Why wouldn't Fincher get in?
I mean, because I think it more would play like Guillermo del Toro not getting in for Frankenstein, that kind of thing, where it just is like, these are like the big populist movies that the branch is not going to be as excited to nominate this veteran for. That said, I do think it will get in for picture. I really do. Unless it's bad, which I don't think it would be. I don't know.
I'm not saying it's going to be like one battle after another, like level resonance, but I just think we got Nolan, we got PTA. Like, our guys from the 90s and 2000s are getting their Oscar moments, and Fincher is like, I mean, he, obviously Benjamin Button came and went, but like, he feels so overdue in that way. Everyone's kind of primed to celebrate him. And also Netflix, as we were saying last year, we were feeling really skeptical about them. And then they pulled a lot of rabbits out of their hats this year. And this one has so much going for it on paper. Again, if it's bad, all bets out the window. But I don't know. I feel like they could, what if this is Netflix's movie they finally win Best Picture with? If Netflix wins Best Picture and it's at the case of getting David Fincher an Oscar, will we stop resenting them for being in the Oscar race?
I'm just, all right, imagine this. Best Director. Your nominees for Best Director are Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, David Fincher, Alejandro González Iñárritu, Martin McDonagh, and just
Bros
the room
night.
explodes. The room explodes from testosterone.
The takes are too hot.
I have 4 of those 5. I would say the only other one I think we didn't talk about was Fjord, which is Christian.
Fjord, I'm so
Mingo,
excited for Fjord. I get Sebastian Stan and Fjord.
Which we could talk about, like those Cannes movies.
Yeah, let's talk about
Manchu.
Cannes movies and start with Manchu. Go ahead, Chris. Feil.
I would say Manchu is in like a real, kind of really in the pocket of the past few years of international filmmakers that get respected by the Academy. I mean, obviously we have another Polakowski movie coming this year, and he received that Cold War director nomination. Fjord is already picked up by Neon, so we can kind of anticipate that to be one of their plays this fall. It stars Renata Reinsva and Sebastian Stan, which I'm kind of bullish on Sebastian Stan's
different man hive lives on.
But, Manchu is, most famous for 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days, a movie that got snubbed for an international features / foreign language film nomination. And that the shock of that was so surprising that they changed the rules and the process for how movies get nominated. So he's definitely a name that Manchu is definitely a name that Academy members are aware of. So he's not, going to be a complete revelation to voters.
But does it need to be a good time in any way to be able to break through in that way? Because that movie is not.
See several of his films. He's not going to give us, a laugh ride or anything.
Yeah. I had a handful of directors that I'm looking. Polakowski, I didn't realize that Polakowski's movie was going to be this year. I thought I was looking at it.
I think everyone's guessing. It might not be.
But that's a good pick. I was looking at, there's new films from Raisuke Hamaguchi.
Mm-hmm.
Also with Neon.
I have that one. Yeah, that one I think
that's
be
called
really good.
All of a Sudden.
Yeah.
Albert Serra's Out of This World, which has that's
Riley Keough.
Riley Keough's in that, right? F. Murray Abraham. It deals with its political history. I don't know. I always do this on this episode where I venture an explanation of what a movie's about that I'm completely wrong.
You start a sentence, you don't know how you're going to finish it.
There's a new Ashghar Farhadi with Isabelle Huppert and Vincent Cassel. And there are 2 Hirokazu Koreeda movies that, that intrigues me. That if, one of those movies is, markedly better than the other one and gets a good reception at Cannes, that is a director I could see having an Oscar breakthrough one of these years, is Koreeda. Yeah. Shoplifters was so good. I feel like if Shoplifters comes out in a 2025 environment, that's more of a Best Picture contender.
Nominee.
Yeah.
Can I throw one out for my guy, James Gray, who
do it? Yes,
is
Paper
probably
Tiger.
going to be at Cannes with Paper Tiger. Mm-hmm. They seem to like him there. France likes James Gray more than we do, which is something we have to deal with. Mm-hmm. But that is what, hang on. Is Adam Driver still in it, or did he drop out and Jeremy Strong is in it?
I think he's in it.
Or Jeremy Strong, what? Yeah. And Anne Hathaway? I lose track of
Johansson.
See, they're so interchangeable. Come on. Anyway, James Gray never misses for me, and I don't want to sit here and predict his Oscar moment because it keeps not happening. Honestly, same for Ira Sachs, who also has a movie that may be ready in time for Cannes, but both of them, I just feel like have to stay in the hopper until it finally hits.
I'll give you another person who I know is one of your guys, Katey, is Tony Gilroy with
Behemoth.
Behemoth,
Not Cannes, right? Like that's
not for Cannes, but just in general, I think that's another Searchlight movie, I believe, right? And so it could be another. Is that a Pedro Pascal Oscar moment as well?
Yeah,
it's a movie about movies.
And I think that could do really well. I also was looking at is that a Will Arnett supporting actor nomination because we liked him in Is This Thing On for the 10 people who saw it? And then his little bit with Channing Tatum at the Oscars is an early little ring the bell for, hey, let's pay attention to Will Arnett. I don't know. But I think Tony Gilroy, especially after the success of Andor, is primed to get into this race either in 100%. Screenplay or director or the movie itself as Best Picture.
The IMDb logline for that movie just screams Oscar contender. It says, follows a musician from a family of musicians who returns to Los Angeles, a love letter to the music of the movies and the people who make it. That's the IMDb log line.
Yeah, this is like, is this the good version of J. Kelly?
Well, and by Tony Gilroy, who had, well, I guess we would say the same thing for Noah Baumbach. Like, Tony Gilroy has the cynicism baked into him.
It's that this is coming from Tony Gilroy that is the most intriguing thing about it. That's not the type of thing you would expect him to be making.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that's another movie that I feel
him.
like was still listed as in production on IMDb last time I checked. So that's a fingers crossed it makes it
Pedro
for this year.
Pascal is he's making the Todd Haynes movie like right now. So I have to assume that movie is done. Right?
I would think so.
Are they filming?
Also,
Pedro Pascal has been photographed in Mexico shooting that movie.
Okay.
I think that's happening. I don't think
just
that's
like,
why
I'm just
share his beard.
As having been burned by the picking a movie that doesn't open the year that we're talking about, I want to.
I mean, certainly we have already done that at this point. So.
Yes, no, that's probably true.
Can I bring up another one we haven't talked about at all?
Yes.
Is the sequel. That is poised to be an Oscar villain is The Social Reckoning from our good friend Alex Sorkin.
Speaking of our guys.
Mikey Madison returned,
Mikey Madison back.
Jeremy Strong.
Alan White and Jeremy Strong as Mark Zuckerberg. Which will get a better Oscar nomination? Jeremy Strong as Mark Zuckerberg or Guy Pearce as Rupert Murdoch in Ink.
In Ink with Danny Boyle's Ink. Yeah.
That's one of the things this year I think we could think about.
Joe,
but just in terms of Social Reckoning, I can't wait to see
go off on Sorkin. Where are you on them right now?
I'm always going to be in anticipation of a Sorkin movie. I tend to be a lot more forgiving of him just in general. I think The Social Reckoning falls into that basket, though, with the Guadagnino movie, too, of just these like movies that are taking on the, technocrat boogeymen of our current era, right? Between, Sam Altman. I think there's another AI movie that is being made by somebody.
There's a miniseries, maybe?
And there's also an Elon Musk documentary that, what's his name is doing? Who's the documentarian?
The one guy that we all know.
No, the
Alex
one who
Gibney,
makes
the other one.
Alex
Yes,
Gibney.
Alex
That's
Gibney,
what I was
thank you.
thinking of. Yes. He's the one guy, the one documentarian. You know him, Alex Gibney. He makes all the documentaries.
So I just feel like it'll be kind of fascinating to see what that narrative ends up becoming in terms of all of those movies. Will there be one good one and then it sort of gets compared positively to all the other ones? Or will the rising tide lift all boats there? Or will they all be,
Are we just going to be so sick of hearing about these guys that we can't?
Right. That's the worry. And Zuckerberg in 2010, when you're making The Social Network, is not as well known of a figure and is also a figure who you can paint as a, you can think one thing about him, you can think another thing about him. I think it's going to be harder to paint Zuckerberg as being anything but a sort of, force for evil.
The weird heart of The Social Network that you don't expect from Fincher, I don't think can exist in this. Is maybe going to be a hard thing to navigate.
Yeah. Yeah.
The miniseries I was thinking of is about crypto, the other thing that's a scam about Sam Bankman-Fried that Julia Garner's in.
That's right.
That's a miniseries.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
In terms of Sorkin, I mean, I could see people discounting this movie, and certainly maybe it'll be bad. And it's a kind of it's so funny that and Cliff Booth are both coming out together, even though they're different.
I know. Just wait for their reunited at Vanity Fair. I'm excited.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm sure they love talking to each other. I bet. I have no idea, but I would say Sorkin's good at getting acting nominations for his actors. We saw Trial of Chicago 7, or at least was in the play, and Sacha Baron Cohen got nominated, and then obviously being the Ricardos incredibly overperformed with its 3 acting nominations, right?
Really outrageously overperformed.
Who is will this actually get Mikey Madison, Jeremy Allen White, and Jeremy Strong? All 3 of them will get nominated, or Betty Gilpin, who is a supporting role.
I was gonna say I'm keeping my gay guy fingers crossed for Betty Gilpin in this movie.
Someone in the cast of Oh Mary will get a nomination at some point.
She's a perfect fit for a Sorkin dialogue.
She
I have
really
no idea
is.
if she's even playing.
She's gonna rip into it. It's
but I'm
awesome.
what if she gets in? I'll be curious to see who is the J.K. Simmons from this movie that gets a surprise nomination, or does the movie just die off? But I kind of think it won't, because I think while online is certainly against Sorkin, I think the industry is still pro Sorkin. That would be my guess.
Wait, while we're on Social Network, though, we should say Jesse Eisenberg's got his movie coming out.
I was going to say, can I bring up a movie we haven't talked about?
Chris Feil, bring it up.
Do it, Chris.
Can we also keep the title of Untitled Jesse Eisenberg musical comedy? It sounds great, like it's going to go to the top of the SEO. It stars Julianne Moore and Paul Giamatti. And it is an original musical of sorts. It's coming from A24. The logline is, a shy woman is unexpectedly cast in a local production of an original musical. Under the spell of the strong-willed and enigmatic director, she loses herself in the role and the high-stakes world of this community theater production. It sounds like Jesse Eisenberg is giving us Waiting for Guffman by way of opening night, and I think this is my most anticipated movie of the year. I was going to
say also, I think he's also giving us A Streetcar Named Marge from The Simpsons. Like, it genuinely, that is the plot of that episode, and I'm so excited for it. Yeah.
And, I think it was disappointing to not see Julianne Moore get nominated for May, December. So who knows if the Academy is interested in Julianne Moore kind of going out on a limb and doing something a little wild. But this does sound like a real showcase for her that, longtime fans, I think, will be very excited to see.
Giamatti came so close to winning Best Actor not that long ago. Like that time can come back around any minute.
Mm-hmm.
And after A Real Pain, I just feel so high on Eisenberg and his tone and what he's capable of. Do we have any guesses on when we might see? This seems like it could be a Toronto premiere. We can bring those back.
A New York premiere.
Yeah, New York Film Festival is probably a good guess. Okay, could I throw out a guy who is not my guy, but I think we should all be intrigued and aware of? Tom Ford's got a movie with a lot of people in it.
He's getting me back in just with that cast. I'm like, God damn it, Tom Ford. I know, I'm going to be there.
I'm just going to keep going down. You think you're done. You got Nicholas Hoult. You got Aaron Taylor Johnson. I didn't know you were allowed to put them in the same movie together, but okay. Adele is third on this list. Then
is
Kieran
she going to be a acting performance, or is she going to be a singer in
it's a Tom Ford movie. You don't know. There's no telling. Yeah. George Mackay's in here. Mark Strong and Colin Firth and Paul Bettany. Again, I thought you had to choose between them.
Just the whole cast of Kingsman. Yeah, okay.
Owen Cooper coming off of Adolescence, and then you think you're done, and then there's Daryl McCormack of Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. It just is. Hunter Schafer's in there. I skipped over her. Anyway, Nocturnal Animals scarred all of us, I think, but come on.
It's also based on an Anne Rice
wait, it is?
novel. Mm-hmm. Yes.
About Sopranos, I think,
yes.
right?
I'm sure this is going to be a deeply normal movie.
So this movie's called Cry to Heaven. Here's another IMDb logline for you. Follows Tonio, a nobleman castrated by his half-brother, who rises to fame as a soprano under the guidance of opera star Guido. The story explores betrayal, identity, and redemption.
Tom Ford made Amadeus, basically.
Amadeus with Castrati. Yeah, exactly.
This movie, according to Wikipedia, wrapped production a week ago, so I don't know if it'll be out, but
sure,
maybe.
Did you mention Tendiwe Newton and Kieran Hines?
I don't even know if I saw them both on Wikipedia. So, there they are. Yes. Incredible. What a cast.
Oh,
another can name
Theodore Pellerin from fucking Lurker is in this movie.
Oh, of course.
I am seated. Yes.
Of course.
Yeah.
Chris Feil, go back to Cannes.
Actually, I should mention two Cannes names. One I think we can definitely bet will be at Cannes, and one that I don't necessarily think will be there. The first of which is Almodóvar. That movie is currently opening in Spain. That is the typical trajectory for movies that do appear for Cannes for that director. It's called Bitter Christmas.
Almodóvar Christmas movie.
Obviously, Sony Classics has that. And then another, former Palm winner, not to speak of old bruises, but Mike Leigh has a movie coming this year. And I am very, very seated for anything Mike Leigh wants to do. We have no idea what that will be because this is, the standard for
Are we worried
movies.
about getting our hearts broken again?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
One more Cannes one that we didn't mention. How about Jack of Spades?
Yeah.
The Joel
Coen movie.
With our good friend Josh O'Connor,
our
Best Actor nominee.
Personal friend.
Yeah.
Franny McDormand and Leslie Manville. I'm like, that's got Oscar. If that actually comes out, I'm like, that's got to be
it's
a
huge period
huge
piece.
Oscar
Is
thing.
it
Yes.
set in England?
Yes, I think so. I saw the set photos of Josh O'Connor. He looks like he's in Wonka.
Oh,
he's got
cool. Big old hat.
Yeah.
The Coen breakup has felt like it has burned us much in the way Nocturnal Animals did. Maybe not quite as dramatically, but we're kind of waiting for Joel Coen to have the magic still, right? Since it seems like Ethan doesn't with the movies that he's put out there, not to be too harsh about it.
I would like them both to get back together and make movies. I think that would be good.
Yeah, but in the meantime...
In the meantime, this is what we got.
And speaking of Josh O'Connor, we did skip over Disclosure Day, which is coming out in June, which we're taking to mean it's more of a summer blockbuster thing than an Oscar thing. But as we keep saying, we keep learning our lessons about release dates. I'm hyped for it. I'm always hyped for Spielberg. We've been burned on Spielberg at the Oscars a lot in the last couple of years. So does it make sense to be cautious here, or is anyone feeling high on it?
I think if it's a summer movie that everybody loves and makes a lot of money, I think it's going to be hard to not put it at least in the conversation. I think the fact that it is coming in the same year as Dune 3 and the Odyssey makes it a little bit tougher because it's not going to be like a best picture lineup that's hurting for box office. You know what I mean? Or so, and Project Hail Mary obviously is going to be in that mix as well. I'm just excited for it though. Like and even if it is just like War of the Worlds level, like War of the Worlds got tech nominations, right? Got sound and visual effects and whatnot. So yeah, I think also it's just like, it can only bolster a Josh O'Connor Oscar campaign if he is the lead in a huge, summer blockbuster that made a lot of money and that everybody saw.
The reverence for Spielberg, as I think I talked about every time I went to an award season event, is just so intense. Like, people flip out when they see him in all of those rooms. And so he just has to have the movie that, like, feels like the path back to this. And again, we thought it was West Side Story. That was a weird year. So
it was Fabelmans. Yeah.
Boy, did we ever. I think we should get close to wrapping it up. So I want to give everyone one more movie that you got to mention so you have it on the record. And then it's going to be time to make your best picture prediction. Chris Feil, I'm going to let you pick one more that you want to say out loud.
We kind of glossed over it, but Greta Gerwig's Narnia movie does deserve mention.
Yes.
Count me among the people that I don't need another Narnia movie, but also count me among the people that, like, I just trust Greta Gerwig implicitly. I think she knows what she's doing, and we will eventually see what that is. And I don't think this movie would be happening if she wasn't bringing something really special to the table.
Yep.
So I'm just excited to see whatever that will be.
The next bad Greta Gerwig movie will be her first bad Greta Gerwig movie.
Good. So that's good. It's true.
Yeah,
that's correct.
And she's never missed Best Picture, right? Like in her 3 movies.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, like, there's a good streak there if she's going to do it. So we'll see.
Chris Rosen, what's one last movie you want to mention?
I'm going to mention this thing with your boy Greg Kwedar called Saturn Return, which is a Netflix movie. The IMDb logline is follows 2 Chicago college sweethearts over a decade as they navigate the complexities of adulthood, and fate tests their youthful dreams. Doesn't sound Oscar-y, but at the same time, the cast kind of is. It's Rachel Brosnahan, Will Poulter, and Charles Melton are like the 3 leads. All 3 of them feel like they could have some kind of awards Oscar moment in the near future.
Charles Melton's got beef coming around the corner. He's going to be a lot of places.
So yeah, I think we'll see. It's supposed to come out this year. It's a Netflix movie. We know they are able to mobilize movies, as we talked about earlier. And I think it could be, is it like this year's Past Lives, but plus, because it's got like more visibility or something like that. These guys, obviously, Greg Kwedar and Clint Bentley, have gotten some obviously Oscar recognition the last couple of years. So yeah, that's when I
love the system that they have where it's like they trade off directing duties so they can, like, it almost feels like they're on some kind of like, whirling whatever belt where it's just like one of them does a movie and then the other, and they fade into the background and then they swap out. And,
I think Clint might not have written this one. I can't remember. Maybe he did, but it does. It is just an impressive work cycle that they managed to have going there.
Yeah.
Joe, do you want to pick one last title to mention?
I'm really intrigued by this reimagining of Mrs. Dalloway set in Lagos, this movie called Clarissa, directed by Ari and Shuko Asiri, starring India Armatefo and Ayo Adebri and Sofia Okonedo. I think it's Sofia Okonedo who's the lead. Yes, because India Armatefo is the younger version of Sofia Okonedo. So it's Sofia Okonedo is the lead of this movie, playing Clarissa Dalloway. And Sofia Okonedo, former Oscar nominee for Hotel Rwanda. It's been a very, very long time. But she's been sort of like plugging away in mostly TV, I feel like, for a while. She'll show up in movies every once in a while. In a year where a lot of the top contenders are pretty big and pretty white. I think a adaptation of a Virginia Woolf novel like this could be very intriguing and could be an attention getter. So
we're saying Iowa Debris' chance is not over, but the Oscar buzz could be real this time.
Maybe. Yes. Yes.
All right, I'll close it out with a title I know nothing about other than Joe's spreadsheet, which is called Switzerland, from Anton Corbijn, and it's got, speaking of our guys, Alden Ehrenreich. It doesn't seem like he's playing Tom Ripley, but it is about a mysterious young man from a New York publisher who is sent to Switzerland to persuade Patricia Highsmith to write one last Ripley
I'm into it.
book. I assume Helen Mirren is playing Patricia Highsmith in the situation. I don't know if it's like a two-hander between the two of them, but Alden, so great in weapons. I know, Joe, you've been on that Alden Ehrenreich train forever, as have a lot of us. I just am ready. I feel like he's in a great point to be building his way back up.
Yeah, I think weapons has been a good springboard for him to get back into it.
Hopefully a good springboard for a lot of people out of that. So many, who's the guy who you love who's in that?
Austin Abrams?
Yeah, what's he doing next?
So good.
I think he's the lead of Resident Evil. That's Zach.
Oh,
I think
there we go.
Yeah,
I didn't put Resident Evil on my list for like people who were in the Oscar mix this year who might be back, but we're excited about it. It hopefully it is great. Maybe not Oscar-y, but we would have said that about weapons, so who knows?
Yeah.
You guys ready to predict Best Picture?
Oh boy. Sure.
Okay, Chris Rosa, do you have a list of 10? Like, or did you go ahead and do
I have
it?
a list
Do you
of 10.
want to
Most
read
of them
it?
we said, sure.
Okay.
I have Cliff Booth, All of a Sudden, which is the Hamaguchi movie that we talked about that Neon is putting out. Behemoth, Digger, Dune 3, Fjord, Michael, The Odyssey, Project Hail Mary, and Wild Horse 9.
Okay. And what's your winner?
I'm gonna say
That's the rule. You got to do it.
I know. I'm gonna say Behemoth. I think
Okay.
I'm gonna zig and say Behemoth coming back. Searchlight. Let's go. The log line is just too California and LA for me. I'm just like.
But the Academy is so international now.
I know. I guess I could say Wild Horse 9. I could see The Odyssey, like all of these, but I do think Behemoth maybe could win.
All
so
right.
that's my pick.
Joe, do you want to go next? What's your Best Picture prediction?
I also highlighted 10 movies. I don't know how this will
Read it
do.
off, Joe. Let me hear.
I have The Odyssey. I have Dune 3. I have Wild Horse 9. I have Narnia, just on the Blind Faith and Greta Gerwig. Oh, one movie we didn't mention at all is A Place in Hell, the Chloe Dumont movie. I don't know. I'm just sort of taking a flyer on that one. People seem to be anticipatory of that one, and I'm going to go with it.
Andrew Scott's in that one, and we skipped right over Pressure, his
yeah.
D-Day Weatherman movie, which, I don't know, maybe we've given up on, but
I feel like
he
if
might
that
have
was
a
a
good
thing,
year.
people would be talking about it more right now, I think.
That's fair.
And it probably would open in the
It might
fall.
be this year's Nuremberg.
Project Hail Mary, Fjord, Clarissa, and then my winner pick that I'm just going to throw out there, I'm going to say Behemoth. Because if I'm wrong, it could be because it's bumped to next year. So I could be not wrong, but early.
Wow. So you guys are both going to pick Behemoth?
Yes.
We didn't talk about this before.
We did not. We did this absolutely independently.
I guess that's allowed, but all right.
Do you want me to pick something else just to be different? I can do it.
No, you decide. You want to? I mean, you're not going to be as right as you were last year, no matter what you do.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. I can only go down.
Or what if you are, Joe?
Yeah.
We're both right then.
The first ever twofer. That would be real history.
Didn't Joanna Robinson and I both agree on?
I think there has. I mean, you might be the first person to ever nail it a year in advance. Period. I need to go back and look at the tapes.
Wow.
But anyway, if you did it 2 in a row, that would be truly unprecedented.
I doubt it.
Okay, Chris Feil, what do you want to pick? If it's Behemoth, you can, but I encourage you to branch out.
I truly was coming in here ready to say Behemoth, but I cannot endorse this buffoonery. I have to say something else.
We are creating way too big expectations for this movie.
For a movie
You know
that
what?
may not be out this year.
I will hope dict here. I will just like put it out into the ether and like send the good vibes. Untitled Jesse Eisenberg musical comedy is winning Best Picture.
Hell yeah.
Do it.
Way to go.
All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to be bullish about what I said earlier. Adventures of Cliff Booth. Let's do it. Let's get Netflix an Oscar.
Nice.
Let's get David Fincher an Oscar.
Fincher.
There is something to this, like, we finally came around to you, it's your turn vibe that we're having. Sean Baker qualifies for that as well, even though it wasn't quite the same level of history. And I think it could be good. I think Brad Pitt's in a good spot after F1. As we said, Elizabeth Debicki's going to have to get nominated for something eventually. And I do feel like Netflix has to win it eventually. If they're going to continue playing at this level, I mean, mean, they're putting more movies in theaters. Like, after they were trying to buy Warner Brothers, we're wondering if they're going to really commit to theaters. It just seems like it's coming.
Can I advance a notion?
Yeah.
Does the Paramount takeover of Warner Brothers cast Netflix in maybe a different light in Hollywood than it did?
Where they feel like the good
all
guy?
of a sudden they were the preferable of two, maybe two bad options, but like now all of a sudden Netflix is the rosier road that's not being taken, and maybe that helps them become a little bit more if not beloved, then, accepted. There's less of a, if that barrier to Netflix for some people in the Oscar voting ever existed, maybe it doesn't anymore.
And they're funding these things and making it possible for something like this to exist. So it'd be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
This has been a real epic, you guys. Are we feeling so excited? This is the best way to prepare for a new year every time.
It feels like I woke up and stretched my arms out and are like, 2026, let's go.
And now we're going to go months without seeing any of these movies and watch every Emmy eligible show. So go enjoy Imperfect Women.
The movies I think are going to show up at TIFF. So we'll just.
Great news. Well, Chris and Joe, everyone can listen to you guys on This Had Oscar Buzz talking about none of these movies yet, but maybe in a couple years we'll see.
Yes.
We'll see Behemoth when it makes it into This Had Oscar Buzz.
We'll mention this podcast if it does. Yes,
please have me on for that episode.
Yeah, we have to. Yes, absolutely.
Calling your shot right there. And yeah, thank you to everybody else for listening along. We'll see you. Everyone will be on the show again in the meantime, but we'll see you again this time next year.
All right.
And see how we did.
Bye.
That does it for today's episode. As a reminder, over on Prestige Junkie After Party, it's a separate subscription. Just $5 a month gets you a bonus episode every month. And this month, Chris Rosen and I are doing the 2006 canon. Every week, we're talking about 4 different movies that came out 20 years ago in 2006 and picking one in each category that belongs in the canon. We've got fun guests. It's a good time. Join us over there. It's a good break from all of the Emmy season chatter that is coming up on this show. In the meantime, this podcast is edited by Brett Fox and produced by Brett Fox and me. Our theme music is by Dave Gonzalez. Thanks again to co-hosts extraordinaire, the best in the business, Joe Reid and Chris Feil of This Had Oscar Buzz. Subscribe to the Prestige Junkie newsletter at theankler.com and to this podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere else you get your podcasts. We will see you next week.